So what's up, y'all? Welcome to Soul Food Saturday Live with LC. So sorry about that little mishap just a second ago. I was testing out a new streaming service, and you know what? I think I have found out that I don't like it, and I'm just gonna stick with this that I love. I love StreamYard for so many reasons. Number one, it's fairly easy. Number two, it allows me to put all of my digital work in there and put some really cool things in here, which you guys know my dream in recovery is I just love digital stuff. I love to create content that's relevant for large, amounts of people at one time. I also like to create like digital content, intros, outros, snazzy logos and stuff. Those are my dreams. So I put them together. But every now and again, some friends of mine who do sort of the same thing or part the same things will send me stuff to check out. And so I checked it out, and I don't think I like it. So I'm going to stick with what I know and what I love, just like I'm going to stick with you guys because I love you so much. So it's a Saturday, man. How's everybody doing? I hope it's beautiful in your world. Whether it's nice outside or not, I hope it's beautiful and amazing and healthy inside of you, regardless of what you're going through. That's what I want to talk about a little bit today. I'm not going to stay on long because I really didn't plan to be here other than that. But there's been a lot of stuff that's been on my mind lately. We're in 2021 now. It's still kind of got the remnants of 2020 going. It reminds me a bit of this whole thing that I just did with the testing the new streaming service. We get afraid of change, and change is many times uncomfortable, but we have to be able to give things a try, so to speak. We have to be able to take time to test some new things out, because let's just face it, if we never embrace change, where would we be? Like, if we don't embrace change, this is as good as it gets. And I think so many of us coming into recovery out of active addiction, we think we don't like change, but really what it is we don't like feeling uncomfortable. And we have built this armor around ourselves that where we have kept the vulnerable out, because it was a coping mechanism for whatever we went through when we were, younger. And I know everybody thinks it's pretty cliche to think everything's not about my childhood, but really and truly it is, because that's where we developed the majority of our armor. That's where we really cope with things in a child's way. And so we build this armor around us that a lot of times, most times, the majority of times, we don't even realize is still with us. And we think we keep out all of this bad, and we think that we keep out all of this, we think we keep out all of this discomfort. We keep out the change. We keep out, the possibility that we may get hurt by a situation, or we may get embarrassed, or whatever it is. And the fact of it all is that we also keep out the experience. And I want to tell you what I'm learning in my recovery journey. And it's pretty profound. In the beginning of my recovery journey, I had to learn how to stay clean and sober and go through life. That's tough. Let's just all face it. We've been here. We've been here a while, and we know that. We know that year one in recovery is basically learning how to be in this new space without the coping skill of escape. And that first year in recovery, it's tough. It's like dredging through the mud with 1,000 pounds of weight tied on your back. One of the reasons that I showed up and started doing these videos kind of early in my recovery, I think I was in year 2 when I began to do this, because I was seeing a lot of people give recovery content, but they had years in recovery. And there was like a breakdown that I couldn't quite understand where they were, and necessarily maybe they couldn't always still understand where I was. And that was the reason I started doing this. And now I'm one of those people that has, a little bit of years behind me. But I never want to forget what it was like for day one. That fear of change, that fear of vulnerability, that still thinking with the addicted mind. And really, I don't even like to call it the addicted mind, because basically what we're thinking from is that plate of armor. We're thinking from behind that wall, that fortress that we've built around ourselves. Because every day in the life of an addicted person is an escape, not to feel the pain of the internal person that we are, not to feel the hurt that we're causing others and ourselves, not to feel the pain of our past, whatever it is, we're escaping pain. And when we now, take away that escape, that that fast track to happiness, so to speak, we're still now we're staring at life through a lens that's almost like you're looking at a 1-ton train coming at you, and you can't really get off of the tracks there. And I use those terms, and they're very drastic and dramatic, but if we remember correctly, that is what it feels like to decide to put down that coping skill and go through life. And for me, I didn't really. What's up, Michael? With 6 years clean. All right. Patrice Wasp and Stacy H. Tara, what's up? Pam V. I love Pam V. I love all of you. But it's really, really true. We're getting in that. We're scared. I want to commend every single person, to get 6 years clean, to have as many years as Pam has clean, and for myself to be working in my 8th year of recovery. We can remember what it was like to feel that pain, but had we not ever stepped into that pain, had we not ever stepped into that fear, what's up, my brother? Had we not ever stepped into that fear of day one, we could have never gotten to the place we are right now. And whatever your circumstances look like around you at this moment and this time, it doesn't really matter. Because what I'm learning in my journey is that happiness and stability lives within me. And however you believe it gets there, or whatever you think helps you, emerge that and master that strength, well, that's yours, But there is a stability in learning how to be happy within you, not because of an achievement, not because of someone else, not because of a job or a career or a person or our clean time or those things, but learning how to be truly contented and happy with change is, I think, a really true part of healing and healthy happiness in recovery. I'm really learning that in order to achieve that internal happiness, I got to get vulnerable. And I also had to learn to enjoy the journey. And really, the journey, what I'm really, really, really learning is actually where the joy lives. So the joy is in the journey. It's not in the destination. It's not in the accomplishments. And I think when we're living in so much pain and we're building armor around us, it's because we're thinking in the future and we're never, ever stopping to enjoy the journey. When we build that armor, we're thinking, I'm going to fortify myself because I'm not going to get hurt by this situation, this person, this, I didn't even step into recovery because I was so afraid I was going to fail because of times past that it kept me out there running and running and running. And I would use excuses within myself, even though they were true, of I don't have health insurance. I can't go get any help. I can't do this. And I would use all those things because they were statements of fear. They were statements of fear because I did not have a model in my mind of how to measure a recovery success. I only had the visions of the past, the times I tried and failed, the times that I had gotten a little bit of clean time and then went back, had a relapse, and I stayed out there longer because of the regret and the guilt and all of those life-stealing, gut-wrenching emotions that we feel safe in. Because if we're used to feeling those things, recovery equals healing, and that equals fear, because we don't know what that looks like. And even though we think we're so disgusted of being in this same old cycle of fear and regret and guilt and all those things, we're comfortable there. It's what we know. And for whatever reason, human beings are made to like and look at and focus on what they can measure, what we can see, how we can compare. That's how we are built in certain ways. And so it's really hard for us to look at change and not feel afraid. But yet at the same time, all the blessings, all the glory lives in the fear of the change that we step through anyway. And so Michael's got 6 years clean. My brother Anthony is, got 3 and some months in there clean, almost 4 years clean. Let's see, Pam's got 7 and 6. January 25th, we'll see 7 and 6 months of clean recovery. Woo, way to go, Pam. So we all know that, man. Like, we had to get in here and we have to wake up every day and face the fear of change, the uncomfortableness of change. What's up, Matty J, my brother? So we have to face that fear and we have to face that change. And we know that some of the changes that we grab a hold of are not going to be all that great. And they're not going to feel good. And we're going to be able to say, okay, well, that didn't work out. Kind of like that streaming service I tried just a minute ago. That did not work out. It was a monumental fail for me. But in a time that I would have felt vulnerable, I would have felt embarrassed, I would have felt like, oh no, that's why I did it here. Because sometimes when we fail big or we fail in a monumental way, we're punching the entire face of fear. What's the worst that can happen if we fail a little bit? What's up, Zoe? What's the worst that can happen if we fail a little bit in pursuit of our dreams? What's the worst that can happen if we fail a little bit in the pursuit of the best possible version of ourselves? Why not get vulnerable? Why not make the journey that we have left here the best that it can possibly be, knowing that there are going to be days and moments where we are completely uncomfortable? Completely. Why not? Why not do that? Because we may possibly get hurt, or we may possibly fail, or we may possibly not achieve whatever tangible goal it is that we have put out in front of us. You know what we can guarantee? If we never try, we know for sure we won't ever. What if this new relationship, let's just say, what if this new relationship you're in, that you keep realizing you're starting to feel the old feelings, you're starting to feel like, that same fear from relationships past and all these things, and you're holding back, what if this new relationship is your one. And yet, if you never drop the guard, you'll never know. What if this time in recovery is your time to make it? If you never drop the armor, you won't ever know. You'll spend the rest of the life that you're living wishing you would have given it a try. What if you've got a big dream and you're so afraid people are going to laugh at you, or people are going to tell you how crazy you are, or they're going to tell you people like us don't achieve things like that. You're not educated enough. You're too gay. You're too straight. You're too white. You're too black. You're too whatever. You'll never get it. And you don't drop the armor and go after what it is that you want. I say recovery has taught me that vulnerability is where life is. That if I don't get vulnerable and I don't do some things that shake me up, if I don't do some things that stretch my comfort zone, then the only thing I can guarantee myself is to live in the regret or the shoulds. And I'll sit in that big vat of shoulding myself all the way to the end. And what's the point? What's the point of that? Like, we have a beautiful opportunity to make a valuable impact on the world where it is right now. And for all the old paradigms and the old modules that have told us that we're no good, that we're a blip in society, that we don't deserve. I remember the first newspaper interview I had ever done. I was still in active addiction. This guy swore to me. Oh, he swore to me. Nobody'd be able to tell it was me. They took my picture from behind. I had just really gotten into treatment, but I hadn't quite started. I was in that, little transition period. And it came out. And oh my gosh, y'all. You could not only tell it was me, I had all of a sudden become famous in the areas as an active addict you don't want to be famous in, so to speak. I thought it was life ending, and I remember reading the comments. And one woman said, I think they should take all addicts and put them on a deserted island with only what they need to survive for 30 days, and then we'll see. And it crushed me, because I was still in that mindset of believing what people who had never walked a mile in my shoes actually said. Like it would matter at all what this strange woman had to say about me. But when you are identified with that belief system of I'm addicted, I've made too many mistakes, I've got felonies, I've got this, I don't have enough education, it's too hard, I'm too old. Listen to all of that. You can feel that in your body. You can feel the weight of that in your body as you say it. And that same newspaper reporter came back and did a story on me, a follow-up story a year later. And in that year, I made him take that picture from the front, because I had achieved a year in recovery, something I had never honestly done. And I had done it by digging in and getting to the roots of my addictions. I wanted people to see that, you know what? Regardless of what you say or think, until you walk a mile in my shoes, don't try to wear my shoes or judge my shoes. I can stand up from wherever I am today. And when he did that first interview, I was homeless. I had a needle in my neck. My wife was putting a shot in my neck on the front page of this paper. And I wanted the world to see that all of us are somebody. Every one of us came into this world the same, innocent bundle of pure consciousness, pure love, a survivor. We come in like that. And I don't know why I got on here to do this Saturday, but maybe somebody out here today is feeling like they can't achieve because maybe they've tripped up. Maybe they had a bad night. Maybe you're feeling depressed and the lie of depression says this will never end. I promise you tomorrow's a new day. I promise you wherever you are right now, you can stand up. I promise you, if you reach your hands out to either side, your voice out, there will be somebody to say, I've been there. I know what you're going through, and you will make it through this if you just don't give up. If you decide that, yeah, you feel shitty right now, but you can feel that shitty, and you can raise it, and you can stand up anyway. That you can learn new skills, that you can do anything you want to do in this life, and you can start right now loving the journey, because whatever you're going through right now is in pursuit of the betterment of you. It's there for a purpose. It's there for a reason. It ain't no accident. So stop wishing that you had somebody else's life and learn to love the life that you got. That's what I had to do. I was abused. I started in the world abused. Then I knew I was different. Then I felt this shameful secret coming all up to my life, and I just used because I didn't know how to process the pain I was in of always wondering, why did everybody abuse me? What did I do? I was just an innocent child. I thought God hated me because I was being taught. We're taught of this awful, damning God that is just not so. And so we as addicts, we turn to that coping mechanism, that fast track to happiness. Please let me escape my misery, my torture for just a little while, because we have so much shame and guilt on top of us. And then we think we're nobody. And you're not nobody. Man, you are everybody. Because even the ones judging you and stepping over you on the street, they are just as much a part of you as you are a part of them. And most of the time when they're judging, it's because they don't want to look at that part of them that you represent. Oh, it's going to happen. Not everybody in your family, I don't care if you celebrate 37 years clean, not everybody in your family is going to walk around and applaud you. They're not going to recognize your success, but that has nothing to do with your happiness or how much work you put in. That's part of that vulnerability thing where we got to love ourselves enough to really try to see what this life is for. Because if you're still here, you can best believe it's for a reason. And get curious about what that reason is. I had to work to change all of that thinking. The difference in the recovery that I stepped in almost 8 years ago versus the recovery that I had stepped in, times past, was I knew that the only way that I was going to achieve this, and number two, I wasn't doing it no more. I wasn't doing it no more. So I had to heal this time. It had to stick this time. And I needed to make it stick. And I knew that the thing that I needed to focus on the most was my mind and my heart. So I had to get to the root causes of that addiction so that I could heal it. Because I could not listen to that whole once an addict, always an addict. And I understand if you're there and that's where you believe right now. But get to a place somewhere that just, that hurts me to think about, that I would do all of this work, but yet still somewhere in the back of my mind believe that I'm still subject to relapse, or that I'll never outgrow or outrun that title of an addict. So I don't buy into that. And that's okay. We can have differences of opinions. That's what makes, us all human. Like I've said before, it's not some crazy science project gone wrong that we are all different. We're supposed to be different. We're supposed to be different. And so, I don't know. You guys got me fired up today. I don't even understand why I'm here doing this today, but man, somebody is in here. Somebody's on the other side of this feed, and you are struggling today. You are struggling, and my heart goes out to you. It's like I'm just feeling that energy, and I don't know, maybe you needed to see somebody that's just all kinds of, you can look at me and tell, man, I don't live a life that is just floating on clouds. I go through some stuff every day, like every one of you. But there is a way to be happy and contented and enjoy the journey through there. And that way is vulnerable. That way is jumping over fear, pushing through fear. It's not that we're never going to feel fear. It's that we got to do it anyway. And, wherever you are right now, whatever you're looking at stepping into, whether it's your dreams, whether it's a new love, whether it's recovery, whether it's whatever, the more it scares you, the more it's for you. Step through that. Do it afraid. You might get hurt. You might fall straight on your face. You might stay clean today and mess around and fall down tomorrow. Keep getting back up. Learn from the failures. Don't beat yourself up. Learn from the failures. Take the guilt for the 5 seconds that it is important, and then let it go. Let the guilt tell you you've done something that's out of alignment with your highest and best self, and then fix it, let it go. Fix it, let it go. Don't keep carrying it around with you like some kind of badge of, see, this is why I can't get there. This is why I can't get here, because of this. Let me show this comment because I like this. Alicia Lee says, do you believe, LC, that one day you can stop working on your recovery? Well, I'll say this. I don't work on staying clean and sober every day anymore. What I work on, though, is that internal stuff. I work on identifying those, those limiting subconscious beliefs that, I'll be 47 on the 17th of this month. So for almost 47 years, there's still belief systems that I'm not aware of that actually come up through trials and tribulations that, the moment you start talking to yourself in any circumstance that arises, they arise to continuously show us a place where we can transfer a perception or transfer a belief system or identify something that's hiding in the shadows. So do I think that we can get to a place where we don't have to struggle through triggers to use? Yes, I do believe that eventually, if you get in there and do the work on that stuff. See, I've done a lot of the work on that forgiveness, and I've done a lot of the work on my mind and the way I see things. I've done a lot of work on my belief systems about who I believe I am and what I'm worth, my self-worth, my self-love. Do I believe we ever get to a place where we're done? Yeah, when we draw our last breath. That's when I think that we get to a place where we're done working. I think every day should be a new day to work on just getting to be the best possible version of you there is. And, to fulfill that in which that you are here in this time to do. And, I think each and every one of us are so important in the recovery community, because recovery is healing. And as we do this healing and the world sees us, because don't think that anybody, regardless of how you're looking at their life or what they show you, please don't make the mistake to think that everybody is not struggling in some way, shape, or form. I mean, we're human beings, and that's part of the joy of us getting to be here, is we're different than the creation of nature, in that we have a mind that thinks and we have emotions that feel. So, love and pain are always going to kind of go one with, right side by side. But if we're not willing to feel the pain, we don't get to feel the joy either. And so we got to learn to be able to take that pain and learn from it, learn to love the places in it that have taught us so much. See, I've never been one of those people I'll just use this example because we all go through it, but I've never been one of those people that hates my exes. And because I believe that every relationship that I've ever been in, all the way to the very worst one that, helped me get a prison sentence, even that one taught me a lot. And so, I've not ever been one of those people that just regret certain things and choose to hate. But I don't think that the work that we have to do each day has to be torturous and just, I think we should wake up excited every day, because every day is not going to be a trial that we work through. Yeah, I like that. Yeah. That's so true, Danielle. So true. Pain is a hidden message for growth. It surely is. I mean, it really, really is. And learning that, I think, has been the thing that has helped me the most. I think I'm probably here in year 8 of recovery because of that very fact, that I realize that there is purpose in every pain that I've ever gone through and that I'm going through. I used to live I completely identified in that victim mindset. And I had every reason to, and nobody's wrong if that's where you are. You don't know until you know. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't be held accountable for something you don't know is there. But when you do know is when you can start doing the work. So the moment that I started hearing things like victim consciousness and victim mentality, I really started looking into that. And when we're so identified with our pain, we will fight you for it. When we've learned to carry that as our badge of who we are, we'll fight you for it. And that's why it's my hat goes off to all the therapists and all the counselors, all the peer support specialists, and all of us that, do life coaching and different things, because it's not easy helping people come to those realizations that, that maybe they can look at that pain a different way. When you've made it your identity, And so it's that, for the identity part, is a daily thing for me. Like, I try to make sure I'm not identifying too much with any external, label or thing, because we know labels limit. People call you an addict long enough, you truly identify with that. And as an addict, there's only so much you can do that boxes you into only this. And so, in year one, like I was saying in the beginning, in year one, it was really about learning how to maneuver each day in life, trying to stay clean and sober, and trying to learn new coping skills, you know? And then in year two, you're still kind of doing that. In year two, it seems like that's where you start to see growth, where you'll start kind of separating yourself from some of the people that you used to hang out with, and you start trying to move in. You start developing like maybe dreams and goals and visions and different things. And that year two, you still got to be in there doing that deep work, and that stuff is painful. It is painful going back and trying to look at those things from another viewpoint. Yeah, I do agree with some of that, Yvonne. I really, really do. But some of it not necessarily, but I think we're probably on the same mindset there. And I think that we will, like what she says, we'll have addictive thinking. I think that is something that we will have to keep our eyes on. I mean, I think that, because what we're looking for is that shot of dopamine. And the brain, a lot of times, the brain will move you towards that as well. When that's become the way that it gets its dopamine, it will seek out things. So you can stop using substance and become full on addicted to sugar. You can become full on addicted to Netflix. I mean, online shopping. We will look for that shot of dopamine. And yep, that is something that you will have to be on top of. And that's the benefit of getting to know yourself, the benefit of becoming your own best therapist and researcher, and know you. That's going to be the main thing. I think your battle plan has to be reworked for every year you're in, and for everything you go through, because you could have been clean and sober for 20 years but never dove into that root stuff, that stuff that's rooted in you, that chopping the weeds off at the surface, and never ever going down to where it lives. See, I made myself a promise that I was going to go all the way down where that crap lived, because I didn't want to miss anything. I didn't always want to be looking over my shoulder for relapse. I didn't. And I had to get to know myself in order to do that. And I still will check myself, will still. Right. And Alicia says that, and that's another good thing to know. Like knowing that, like we could take that and put a negative label on it. Like, I have, and I love that you said, I have an addictive personality. I'm glad that you didn't say, I am an addictive personality, because everything that comes after the words I am is like a wish coming true almost. And so knowing that about yourself is not a weakness that you should feel shame about. It's a wonderful thing to know, because in knowing that, if you don't ever accept that, if you don't ever look at that, then you will constantly be running these patterns in your life that you'll just think life's against you. Like me with my I'm God's little joke. I saw that weakness with shame. and guilt, because, a lot of times that's how society or our families will put it to us. And we will identify with that and we'll accept that, and we'll never look at it as a strength. It's why I, show up and do it's why I started doing the videos in the first place, is because I wanted people to find the freedom that I had found in learning that all these things that I beat myself up with are actually great assets for me. They need to stop being my weapon for self-hurt and be my, my roadmap for self-greatness. Because nobody wants to take off on a trip across the country and not actually, number one, map out their route and do a little bit of research on that route, because you need to know where the detours are. You want to know where the crappy roads are. You want to know if you're going to, a bad place, an area, a storm, or whatever. And those things that we are beating ourselves up with are precisely the things that we can turn around and look at as, okay, well, I know this about me. So how can I now navigate this amazing life, accepting every part of me? Self-acceptance, self-love. Because I can too, Alicia Lee. I can become completely addicted to the things that give me that shot of dopamine. So for me, I turn it into a game. I check in with myself all the time. And I have developed I've developed this amazing way to see and accept those things about myself and not beat myself up for them. Because I remind myself that, okay, so you are now really into a certain snack. Well, that is better than living on the street, lying, cheating, stealing, putting my life in danger every day. Can I accept this about me and live happily every day, that I'm addicted to this snack? I mean, if they run out of this snack, am I going to harm myself or someone else to get it? No. So, okay. All right. What's the big, so, it's really, I think everything comes down to self-love, because when we talk about addiction, we're talking about self-loathing as well. It's the complete opposite. For me, I loathed myself so much that, life was not joy to me. It was a punishment. And I felt like I was being punished every day that I woke up. I'm so grateful, man. I can't even tell you guys how grateful I am not to live in that mind space anymore. And it just takes that daily work of stepping back from everything and asking yourself about this, asking yourself, what's the best that I can do today? What's the best way that, I can go about this day? What's the best way I can look at this to where it is healthy for me and digestible for me? Because swallowing a big old lump of pain hurts. We don't want to do that. But what's a way that I can change my perspective on this subject and really gain from it? And I think knowing ourselves, I'm a mind racer. My mind races, as if y'all can't tell by how fast I talk and how quickly I go places. My mind's always running. And while that's great when I'm inspired, it's great whenever I'm writing, or great when I'm, it's not so great when I'm trying to sleep, right? It's not so great when I am, trying to really get something done in a methodical way. I probably have no less than 200 notebooks around here. And there is no notebook that is so organized and put together that I can pick it up and say, oh, this is my podcast notebook. Oh, this is information from my first year in recovery, or no, it's random stuff all the time. And sometimes that can get to be overwhelming. And so we got to know ourselves. We really do. Windy Cindy, I love it. Sorry to have to duck company here. Well, God bless you too, man. And God bless all of you. I really do love you guys so much. And I do thank you for spending time with me on this Soulful Saturday check-in. I really like this back and forth. This thing. Yeah, Alicia, the meditation has been it really is a godsend to me, because it's allowed me to help me bring myself down to a quietness. And even then, I used to tell myself I'm doing it wrong, I'm not doing it enough. So I always tell people, meditation, God speaks in the silence. And whatever God means to you, God speaks in the silence. When we get still, when we get quiet, that's when we can really truly connect. And whether you only manage to get still and quiet for 5 minutes a day, do it. Do it. Because, our minds are made to chatter all the time. It's called the monkey mind, and we're constantly doing it. So, do what helps you. Do what helps you, what feels joyful to you, and just keep going. No matter where you are today and what you're facing. And I know, y'all know my story. I'm facing, doing so much work, and yet in between homes right now. And 8 years ago, this would have been a victim situation for me. But today I'm so excited for the change that is coming, because I love living from the heart, and I love living in faith. And I'm talking about that real faith, not that faith where you kind of know the next couple steps. I'm talking about real faith where the way is not lit up. Your every step in front of you is the only one that's lit up on the path. And man, I'm walking it. And I love it. And I'm embracing change. And I'm embracing excitedness. And I'm embracing those things because I know that I've put in the work, that I wake up every day and I just try to be the best possible me I can be. I always try to learn. I try to move forward. I do my best to give back. I give from my heart. You guys know I work quite a few jobs. This isn't my job. I love doing this. Just giving back. And, and I believe that whatever is after this is for my highest and best good. And there's also a beauty in that as well. Because what we think about mixed with our emotions, what we, comes back to us. Put together, shaken up. And so I am excited. And some days I got to kind of remind myself to be excited, because I'm just like anyone else. I get caught in worry sometimes. I have the ability to look at things from that old point of view, but I don't stay there. I don't stay there. I don't deny when I feel like crap. I don't deny if I'm going through something. I don't deny grief or sadness. I let it be. Okay, I'm sad. Here's why I'm sad. I have a right to be sad, but I'm not going to live in that space. So wherever you are today, just pick yourself up from there. Believe in yourself, because you are limitless. And whatever you can dream, I don't care where you are. I don't care about your felonies. I don't care about your current financial situation. Don't let the lies that come against you and tell you you're not enough, you don't have enough, all that. Kick that out, because if you can dream it, you can achieve it. Live in the knowing, live in the end result, live in the feeling, and move every day from your heart. And I guarantee you, what you are dreaming of has to come to you. If you don't believe me, put it to the test. That's all I'm saying. Put it to the test. What's the worst you get? An awesome life? Awesome. Awesome. Man, I love y'all so much. Hey, Stephanie. What's up, JD? Oh, man. Each and every one of you, thank you so much for spending some time with me. I know I got long-winded. I came at y'all with some stuff. Probably most people were like, man, I can't listen to this cat. This cat's going too many places. Danielle, I love you. Yes, Danielle, today I live in the joy that is in me. And that is so good. And that is so true. Be happy wherever you are, because you are blessed. Take a moment to stop and turn around and look at all that. I love you guys more than you know, more than you could ever know. And I will see you guys so soon. I will see you for Motivation Monday on the Recovery Soul Food YouTube channel. And I'll be right back here on Facebook Live for Winning Wednesday. I love you guys. Have an amazing rest of the weekend. And I'll see you soon. Bye, guys.